Hi, I'm really excited today because we're going to be speaking to Julie and Jenna from BCS about what BCS is and how people can use their memberships. I'm Charlene and I run an organisation called Coding Black Females, and we're really excited about trying to get more Black women into the tech industry to give them more opportunities and to develop their skills, but also give back to the tech industry as well. We've recently partnered with the BCS to create a membership bursary for 50 Black women in the UK. And we're really excited today to have this conversation to find out more about BCS and how people can actually use their membership. So, Julie, it would be great to meet you and find out more about what you do at BCS.
Thank you, Charlene. Good to be here. I'm Julie Andrews. I'm a key account manager with BCS. So my role is to be involved with organisations and help them find their way through membership, best things for them to use for their individuals, and to give them as much support as we can around the membership journey.
Oh, perfect. So you're the perfect person to speak to then. So what is the BCS for people who don't know? Some people haven't heard of it. What do you do?
So we are the British Computer Society. BCS is a chartered institute, so we are known as BCS, the Chartered Institute for IT. We've been around since 1957, and it is fair to say probably back then we were a bit of an old boys club. It would have been a bunch of gentlemen in a wood-panelled boardroom, but I'm glad to say we're not like that. We have very much a diverse membership with lots of support right across the community for all different aspects of the IT industry. Lots of communities. I think we have around about 150 different branches and communities for people to get involved in. Part of the BCS is having a royal charter. So, the fact we're a chartered institute, we have this royal charter. It was bestowed upon us in 1984. And the royal charter indicates that we have a somewhat altruistic claim in making IT good for society. So it's a fairly big thing to do. But we have a responsibility in ensuring that the industry, as it develops in the right way and ethically, and people working in it have that ethical responsibility for making sure that the tech that they produce is good for society and good for the development of the industry as a whole. So that's very important. We focus on education, bringing children through into the space. We focus on supporting our members through communities, through standards, through lots of things that are actually going to be good for them to develop their career. But also, whilst doing that, really thinking about the industry as a whole and challenging things that aren't right, challenging policy and lobbying government and doing all that good stuff to ensure that we've got this really strong mobile base of individuals moving forward. And it's important as well.
That does sound amazing. I'd never actually known that you did so much, to be honest. I think that my view of BCS has always been you can get BCS membership. And I also used to get involved with ECDL courses. So I used to see BCS on that as well. So I knew about it from an assessment perspective, but also that you could get membership. So on the actual membership side, why do people join? Like, what do people get out of the membership that you've just spoken about? All these amazing things, but how does the membership play into all of that?
So it's different for each individual, really, as to what they want to get out of BCS. So BCS provides them. I think membership gives you an indication of how long you've been in a career, so how long you've been in your industry. So membership gives you a chance to sign up to an ethical code and consider CPD, which is a big part of anybody's career development. But it also gives you access to having a standard. So a standard is about an accreditation of skill, regardless of professional background, regardless of how long you've been in your career. It's about your current competency. So for a lot of members coming into BCS, they will pick up a standard because it gives them that level of evidence of the skills that they have. For others, it will be about networking. It will be about raising their own profile, and joining those groups that are available to them. There's 150 different branches or specialist groups. For many, it's about that technical aspect. I know you've got a lot of software developers. We've got out of those specialist groups, actually the software development group is probably the largest, and within that subgroup there's 10 specialised groups just focused on that. They're all run by volunteers as well, so a lot of our members come in and want to be involved in that, and they want to be involved in actually some of the groups that support their colleagues and other parts of the industry as well. So there's lots of reasons for people to come in. I always liken this to a gym membership. You get out of it what you put in. You know, if I bought you a gym membership, Charlene, and you said, thanks very much, Julie, but I'd rather play golf, I've then got to convince you why it's good for you. And it's good for you because, you know, you're going to be fitter, you'll live longer, play with your kids longer, be a healthier person generally. Membership's a little bit like that. You know, what you put into it, you get back. So the more you invest in yourself, the more you'll get out of it. And I often see these people that are involved in our committees and our communities, and they really love it. They are so actively involved because they put a lot into it. They make friends and they make a lot of networking opportunities for themselves because they're involved. So it is really up to you as to what you get out of it, and there's plenty on offer. And I think as well, people do focus on the obvious things, the networking, the standards, but there's a whole lot of soft skill development opportunities as well. So within the membership secure area, you can go in and get into a product called Springboard, which is all about soft skill development. You know, we have to, in the IT industry, be really aware of business skill now. Mm-hmm. And it's not just about technical skills. I'm sure you know people that are fantastic at their job, but standing up and talking about it is not their forte. So some of these skills that are available through Springboard will really help them develop those softer skills that are absolutely so necessary in self-developing your own career as well.
Okay, so it sounds then as though it's actually just really beneficial to have, because people can look at it and say, okay, I've now got access to all of these resources, and people can probably put that on their CV or on their LinkedIn profile and say, I'm a member of BCS, and that means I've got access to a community, essentially. So something that I have seen quite a lot is people who have listed themselves as MBCS or FBCS. What does that mean?
So when you're joining a professional body, you're joining in a particular capacity. So with BCS, we have associate members, so those people that have been in their career less than 5 years, potentially, or a professional member who have been in their career 5 years or more, or maybe they will have a degree in computer science, which would allow them through to that professional status. Or for those that have been in the industry for a longer period of time and have some eminence behind them, maybe they've published articles, maybe they're an academic or leading a large team, they may come in and join as a fellow. So that becomes the FBCS. So those are post-nominals that you can use as part of your membership within BCS. So I'm a MBCS, so behind my name I have Julie Andrews, MBCS. I also have RIT Tech, which is one of the standards. So I can add that to my post-nominal. So I would become Julie Andrews, MBCS, RIT Tech. And we have a number of different standards, including chartered. So for those who are more senior in their career, they've got the opportunity of having chartered IT professional. And also RIT Tech, and CEng for those who are more engineering focused, so software architects maybe, and iEng, incorporated engineer as well. So there are other standards available for people to use as a post-nominal.
Sorry. So if somebody has one of those post-nominals, so they might have the architecture one, does that mean they've been through specific training or something? If they've been awarded, like, is that a certificate? What is it if somebody's gone through that process?
It's a really good question, actually, and one that people get often quite confused with. So membership is about that length of time in your career, and it says I've signed up to a code of conduct and I've been working in the IT space for 10 years, whatever it is. And that's where you've got that membership in BCS that indicates how long you've been in your career. A standard is about that accreditation of skill, regardless of where you've come from, in regard of your professional background. And it's not a course, it's not an exam, it's an accreditation. So you have to evidence your work through an application. In the case of RIT Tech, it's a written application where you have to go through a number of things to evidence your skill against a set of criteria. With chartered, it's a little bit different, still evidencing skill. a much higher level here. We're working at a more senior level, more strategic, and you also go to interview. Now, the standards are peer assessed, so it's not BCS saying, hey, you're this good. It's a group of individuals who are our assessors, who come from our community, and they're assessing people to determine that. So it sort of indicates competency, as opposed to an examination, which says you were really good and you've studied something and you've passed it and you've got it, well done. This is different. This is actually about your current competency. And some people are really good at passing exams. Some people hate them. So in this case, because we're looking at what you've done in your work environment and your work experience, you're evidencing it through examples. It's probably a really good representation of what you're capable of. And that's why I think with all a membership, if you do anything with your membership, take standards. Those are the things that are the pixie dust on top of the membership that you're getting, and it's something that really evidences you. If you're employing someone that is chartered, you know what they are. It indicates that they're at a certain level in their career. We know about chartered accountants. We know that they can't practice unless they have that particular level. With IT, we can recruit anybody in to do a job as long as they can do that job. They've got that role. So having something that indicates your competency, stands you above the crowd, that puts your head above the parapet, and it basically says, I believe in my own skills, I'm evidencing my own skills, and I'm sort of raising the bar on the profession in doing so. So they're important things to do.
Okay, that does make a lot of sense, actually. So essentially, somebody could get the membership, and whilst they have it, they could use that time to either develop their skills and become chartered if they wanted to. So start providing some of that evidence to then say, okay, I've used this time to evidence the fact that I'm an architect, evidence the fact that I'm this level in engineering. And then when they're then going for roles, people can see that they have a standard against themselves, essentially.
Absolutely. And it for a lot of people, chartered is something that is highly prized. There's that is something you're working quite strategically at, and it takes a bit of effort to put together an application and evidence some of those things, but it is highly prized. And for those working at that, we call it Sophia level 5. There's something called Sophia, which is the skills framework for the information age, and all of our standards are mapped to that. So if you come into the industry, you're coming in usually about a Sophia level 2, 3. When you are a middle manager, you're probably a Sophia level 4, more senior and strategic, a Sophia level 5, and a senior leader, setting strategy, owning budget, you might be a 6, 7. So that would be our fellows. So for a lot of people coming through, taking a standard does give them a really good representation of their CPD and the journey that they're taking to this place as well, and you're recording it. And the other thing about a standard that's valuable is you have to validate, because it's about current competency. So my RIT tech, it lasts for 3 years. I would then have to revalidate. If I wasn't working in that same role and I'd progressed, it might not be for me anymore, and I might look more chartered as the next level up. So it does give you quite a nice representation of your career progression, having those standards to underpin you as well.
Good. So I think that it does line up very well with people being able to access more roles, potentially evidence what they're doing, and really progress in their careers. So just to get an understanding around that, in Coding Black Females, we do have people who are at entry level right through to, they've been in the industry for 20 or 30 years. It would be really good to get an understanding of how people at either end of that spectrum can use their membership. How can they really benefit from it?
It's a very good thing to ask. I think for those working, we'll go to those working at the more senior positions first and come back to those starting out. So I think for those people that have been in the industry a while, a couple of things happen. They can get a bit stale. They're used to what they're doing, and it does sometimes, they're a little set in their ways with what they do. And I think having membership can open up avenues for you. So it introduces you to other people. There are other things you can get involved in. I think it rekindles your interest sometimes in some of those areas that maybe you haven't had time to focus on. There are lots of those community groups to get actively involved in, including Stella, which is a group to encourage young women into this particular industry. And that's fantastic group to get involved in. There's BCS Women as well. They're really active. So there's lots of opportunity for people to get more actively involved in stuff that they might have otherwise not thought to do. There's also something called a mentoring program. So we have this mentoring network. So if you are more senior in your career and you've got a little bit of time to give back, that is what I would strongly advise you to do. The mentoring network is very easy to access. It's part of the BCS tools. You can go on there, you put a profile in, you can identify very quickly the sorts of things that you want to mentor on. You can turn on or turn off your availability depending on what your diary's like. And it's one of those things that looks fantastic on the CV, and you're really helping someone else. And you could mentor at a whole host of different places. You know, it doesn't mean to say that you're most senior, but it probably does mean that you have skill that someone else could benefit from. So for a senior person, lots of things to happen there. Plus, there's things they can be involved in that are probably quite profile raising, including our UK IT Awards. We look for judges from our communities. Great opportunity to get involved with others in a similar sort of environment. For those in a more junior position, starting out in their career, I think sometimes BCS doesn't naturally sort of appeal to people. They don't think about BCS as being something that is for those starting out in their career, and it absolutely is. There's so much advice and support and community support within that. I was at a university not so long ago where we were talking to a bunch of students about all the tools around membership, and we had one of the branch chairs with us from the local community, and he said to this group of kids, he said, you know what, I'm probably as old as your parents. He said, I could be older than your parents. And he said, I'm the chair of the local branch. So he said, you look at me and you think, I don't know if I want to go along and spend time with you in one of your branch meetings. How interesting is that going to be? He said, what I'm going to tell you is you're going to be working with people like me, and you're going to be working with people of all different sorts of backgrounds. And he said, it's really useful for you to come along to our branches and communicate with us on the same level, because we learn from you, but you'll also learn a lot from us because we've been around the block, we've seen this stuff. And actually, when you go out into the workforce, you're going to see people like me and you're going to have to work with us. And he said, it's really valuable for you to do that. And I actually thought that was a really good indication, because clearly in branches, we get all sorts of different individuals coming from different backgrounds. But it is true, for those starting out, there's lots of advice, there's lots of dedicated groups to support you. And it's not just about the technical skills again, it's about having those standards. So wherever you are at, being able to have a benchmark. I talk about RIT Tech before. This is absolutely for someone starting out. So you've been in your career for 12 months, you want to get yourself a benchmark, take RIT Tech. I often say you could be working above it, but if you're at least at that baseline, we call it severe level 3. I often sort of say it's like having a driving license. You and I can both drive. We go out on the road, and you might have an advanced driving certificate. It doesn't matter at this point. To get on that road, we both need a license, and this RIT Tech almost provides you that. It's that baseline. I'm at least this good. Could be better. Could be working at a high level, but at the very baseline, this is what it tells me I'm working at. And that, for someone starting out, is really, really valuable. So yeah, I think for both ends of the spectrum, we have something to support and offer.
It does sound like it. I think there's real benefits there that people can get out of it. I think that one of the key areas that I'm really interested in as well is part of Coding Black Females, like part of what we really want to do is change the tech industry, right? We want to make sure that it's more diverse, that we can support more people and get more people into the industry as well. So what do you think that we can do as Coding Black Females, the members that we put through that are able to get those BCS memberships? What can we do to support the development of the actual industry as a whole?
It's so important. And BCS, we're a bunch of people sitting down in Swindon. We are the facilitators for this stuff. We don't actually have the expertise in-house. That's our community. That's you guys. So we rely very heavily on people to get involved. So we have all of our community groups are volunteer-led. And if we don't have representation on those community groups, we don't change the voice. We don't change the way that the industry is directed. So it's really imperative, I think, that we have your community particularly in there, because women, we don't have enough women in this community, and we need Black women involved, because it's all about having that representation. So I think get involved in some of the communities, and they would be delighted to have support. Mm-hmm. And I think also, you know, if you are taking standards, and we have some of your Coding Black females coming through as chartered, perhaps give back on that and become assessors, get involved in those communities as well. There's a lot on offer in that respect, and I think we can't keep creating change if we don't have our members coming in to support that as well. So, you know, I think that would be a nice future aim, is to see a number of the women coming through and involved in some of the community pieces.
That would be
amazing. That drives change.
Absolutely, absolutely. So one thing that is clear is that we don't have enough young girls, we don't have enough Black girls coming through the actual industry, coming through education into tech. What is BCS doing to actually get more people into the tech industry from an early age? And what could we do? How can people who have membership get involved in that as well?
That's a great question, Charlene. And it's one of the things that I'm really passionate about as well. We don't have enough young women coming through into this industry. So there's something called Barefoot Computing that BT fund. BCS is fully behind this. They fund it every year, and they provide workshops for primary school teachers. Mm-hmm. We know that if we talk to children at the age of about 8, 9, and we talk to them about not coding, not computer science, but computational thought, the fun stuff, there's a much, much higher probability of bringing them into the industry later on. So Barefoot is set up for a group of volunteers, for you guys to come in and talk to primary school teachers in their own environment. Clearly it's a bit different currently today, but hopefully we'll get back to being able to go into classrooms and talk to them about the value of computer science. Primary school teachers are naturally quite scared of this stuff. It's not where they feel comfortable. And what Barefoot does, it provides a whole workshop, a lovely slide deck with everything they need to say, and it encourages our members to go and talk to their kids' school, their sister's kids' school, and talk to them about computational thought and how they can teach children the value of computer science. And we know that that will make a difference, and we know that it brings people through later on. The other problem we have is we don't have enough parents understanding the roles that are available in this space. My own daughter 2 years ago, taking GCSEs at a local school, really nice school, look after the kids. It was a girls' school. You know, they care about body image. They care about all the things you'd expect of a girls' school. Computer science is on the curriculum. She wanted to take it. Mum was delighted, and couldn't do it because there wasn't enough girls interested in it. It wasn't sexy enough. It wasn't something that they were fascinated in. She was told she could do it at the local school across the park to a local boys' school if she wanted to go and do computer science. Clearly she wasn't going to do that. So we lost this girl to, she went to physics, great STEM subject, but we lost this kid to computer science, and she should have, absolutely would have been perfect to have come into this space. So we're doing stuff, but we're not doing enough. There needs to be more. It's changing. We're getting more children through these computer science subjects. We had more girls this year than ever before. But we need more. So BCS has set up something along with Raspberry Pi and STEM Learning called the National Centre for Computer Education, and it's funded, government funded. We have lots of things that are happening within that, including creating bursaries so teachers can leave the classroom to upskill. So they can go and have the relief teacher come in and cover their classroom, and they can go and be upskilled in computer science. So things are definitely changing, and the more we have involved to make that happen, the better, as far as I'm concerned. And we know we need more skill. You know, I think the number is something like 1.22 million specialised digital skills needed by 2022, fast approaching, and we need more. So it's a major thing. And I think for members to get involved in supporting this, Barefoot Computing is a prime one. They can easily get involved in that. The other thing is we look after an organisation called CAS, Computing at Schools. It's a BCS organisation. It's a membership organisation, free membership for teachers or those interested in education. It's hubs all around the country. Teachers don't travel far to access this stuff. So they've got lots of hubs, all virtual at the moment, and plenty of information for teachers to support their teaching plans and teaching computer science. So again, our members can get involved in CAS. I've got various CIOs who are teaching at high schools, girls, very much around the focus of girls again, to encourage them through to computer science. So lots of information there, but it's something that hopefully we can all stay passionate about, because we need to make sure we've got kids coming through into this space.
Oh, that's really exciting. I feel like I've got a really good understanding now of what BCS is, what people can actually do with their membership, how they can really benefit themselves, but also the industry. So thank you so much for your time. It's been absolutely fantastic to find out so much about what you do.
Thanks, Charlene.
Thank you. Awesome. So Jenna, it's great to meet you. And we've just had a really good conversation with Julie around how people can really utilize their membership. It would be great, first of all, just to find out who you are. What do you do at BCS?
So yeah, my name is Jenna Griffin. I am a policy programs manager here at BCS, and I work across both the press and the policy team. It's my job to manage kind of the programs of interest that BCS are working on. So at the moment, we're looking at diversity and inclusion, digital skills and the digital divide, and chartership and professionalism.
Okay, that's great. So again, I think it's going to be a really good conversation with you as well. One thing I really wanted to get an understanding of is, obviously, Coding Black Females, we're really, really wanting to change the face of technology in the UK. Like, it has to change.
Yeah.
What initiatives are currently in place at the BCS to make the tech industry more diverse?
Yeah, definitely. I think this is a big thing on everyone's agenda. So at the moment, BCS has recently been changing as an organisation to ensure diversity and inclusion is at the heart of everything we do. And as the professional body for IT in the UK, it is really important that we are leading the way for underrepresented groups, which is currently being driven by the BCS policy team. So 2020 has been a big year in terms of racial diversity and the light that continues to shine on this diversity angle. We now have an internal racial diversity group and a specialist group within our membership community for racial diversity called Embrace, which I'm sure you'll be interested to find out more about when you join BCS. So BCS engages also with a number of external organisations like Every Woman to ensure we can promote and support women working in the sector and to ensure they are presented with every possible opportunity throughout their career. The BCS member community has its own women's group. BCS Women is a specialist group that provides networking opportunities for all BCS professional women working in IT around the world. The group's main objective is to provide support for female IT professionals, as well as mentoring and encouraging females of all ages to pursue a career in IT. And BCS Women is the largest member group for women working in computing within the UK. So BCS have also been involved in the continual development of the Diverse IT Charter. It is the CPIS, the Council for European Professional Informatics Societies initiative aimed at reducing gender disparity within IT roles, and it's a roadmap which moves through 3 levels of attainment, bronze, silver and gold, and each level has a focus of attraction and retention, asking applicants to showcase their initiatives and policies for increasing gender diversity within IT professions. So that's just a taster of what we're doing. We've got so many more plans for the year ahead, as well as working in partnership with yourselves. So I can definitely say we are doing so much in diversity and inclusion, so much more than we are doing from this time last year as well, which is great.
It's really good to hear. And I've definitely met a lot of awesome women from BCS Women, so many of them. And it seems to be very much a community about connecting you with other people and really growing that network and providing opportunities as well. So I think any members that do sign up for the bursary will really get a benefit out of that as well, and all the other groups that you've spoken about.
100%. And as we are moving into kind of a more like online world, we're not meeting up as much. I think it's really worth putting the effort into making those networks online. I know it's a lot harder, but it's definitely worth it.
Yeah, definitely. And also then, looking at the policy side of what you do, how can our members who may have more experience, how can they get involved in really driving some of that policy change? What can they do to support that?
Yeah, so definitely the BCS policy and press team are continually looking for experienced individuals to work with us on our internal communications. So things like press releases, feature articles, interviews, blogs. We have a successful magazine called IT Now. I'm sure our marketing department will want to work with any ladies on the bursary for that. The policy team are continually responding to government consultations, so we always require kind of members' opinions and input, so we have more balanced views. We are all currently working remotely, so we are hosting regular webinars whereby we would encourage any members from Coding Black Females to be speakers. We would also love to have their representation within our BCS member community as well. So I think open positions within our governance structure is something, if any of the members feel comfortable to do, that would be really, really good. As a professional body for IT, adhering to a royal charter and a charitable status, we do have a vast amounts of governance. So as I said, there will be opportunities for any of the ladies on the bursary who have significant experience to apply for these roles within our numerous boards. And as we say at BCS, at the end of the day, you only get out of it what you put into this membership. So I would especially if you are an experienced individual who receives this bursary, how nice would it be to give your expertise back to the community? So mentoring within our networks, any events that we provide between Coding Black Females and BCS, to get involved there. I think that would be really important.
Amazing. And I think that's one thing that's really key about this bursary. It's about making sure that we've got more Black women who are able to participate in everything you're doing at BCS. We need people on those boards. We need people actually, making that change, driving change, and putting their perspectives across as well. So
100%. And BCS policy will be right behind you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm really excited about this. I think it's going to be amazing. I think that we're really going to be able to have a really big impact over the next year. So thank you. Thank you very much for that.
No problem. So Charlene, just to wrap this up then, what would you say to your lovely group of ladies at Coding Black Females? What is the benefit to them of receiving the BCS membership?
To be honest, I think that there are a lot more benefits than I even imagined initially. So when I first reached out to you, I just wanted memberships. I wanted to be affiliated with the BCS because, it's a professional body for IT. So I figure that, Coding Black Females should be affiliated with such an organization. And I think the real benefits people can get out is the impact it could have on their career. If they become chartered, if they're associated with a professional body, then they can say, I've got this mark that says I have this achievement in my career, and it can really help to drive things forward in that way. So that's something that I'm really excited about. I think hearing about the membership platform as well, there's a lot of benefit there on both sides. So people who do want to give back and who do mentoring. So we have a lot of mentoring in Coding Black Females, and people who might want to do it on a broader scale, they can get involved there, but also receiving some of that membership, accessing some of those webinars and events. There's a lot that people can really, really learn, I think, from the other people in the community and with the networks that you have available too. So BCS Women, literally the first time I communicate with anybody in BCS Women, I can't believe how many contacts I have now because of BCS Women. So it's so worthwhile having that network. And I really believe in building your network and building the people that you're connected with to really grow your impact and the impact that other people can have on you as well. And I think that element of, what you were speaking about with policy as well, I really want to see there being Black voices in that, Black women's voices in that as well, in what that policy looks like in our perspective. So that's something I'm really excited about. I really think that from a Coding Black Females perspective, people can really benefit from progressing in their careers, having that, I'm trying to think of the word, like something mark, trademark, benchmark, I don't know, a benchmark. Having a benchmark in their career to sort of say, this is what I've achieved.
Yeah.
But then also, driving policy, driving change, and really changing the tech industry. That's what's valuable to me.
Perfect.
Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you so much for listening. It's been really, really good to hear so much information about the BCS from Julie and from Jenna. It's been really, really fantastic. What we really want is to have more people apply for the membership. We really want people to really benefit from it and really get access to the network for the next year. So if you do want to find out more about the membership, please go to codingblackfemales.com, where you can find out about the BCS membership, but also all the awesome events that we do at Coding Black Females, and have access to amazing people and an amazing network as well.